Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Award Central podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. The time has come. We've been talking about them for months and months and months. They've been delayed a couple times now, and everything's been delayed. And before I say anything else, our hearts, our thoughts, our prayers, whatever you believe in, goes out to the people in Los Angeles. That is, the movie city of the world. So all the firefighters and everybody fighting to combat that fire, we do send our deepest gratitude to those individuals and our thoughts and prayers to those who have suffered a lot through that fire. But Thursday is finally the time, the 97th, I think that's right. I keep on saying 97th, so I'm going to keep on saying, 97th Academy Award nominations are coming in hot, bright and early for a lot of us over here, especially on the West Coast. 5:30 PT, which is 8:30 Eastern time. They will be announced, but why not give us one more look at these nominations right before we do? So we're going to give our final nominations in the big six of categories. As always, I am joined by my partner here, Benji. How are you, man?
Very, very good. Thank you, sir. Again, as mentioned, we've had delays after delays. Oscar nominations were meant to be wrapped yesterday, but of course, due to the LA fires, which again, I'd just like to echo what you said, sending my absolute love, prayers, heart out to anybody who's been a victim of the fires, all the firefighters. I'd like to send my respects. But yeah, no, it's nice to kind of feel like we're getting this wrapped up a little bit now and look forward to award season progressing on.
Yeah, there was a couple delays, and now we're here. Obviously, Critics' Choice been delayed. We've had, and the whole delay and the random announcing has kind of messed with us trying to podcast, because it was like, we had plans to do post Oscars, and it was post DGA and then PGA, and then everything got like announced via like a press release almost. You know what I mean? So it was like, it is what it is. There was kind of some shocks and twists inside there, but one final look at the four acting categories, director and picture. We are excited to do that. Of course, we'll start with the best supporting actress. This is a category that seems kind of top heavy when it comes to nomination wise, but then there's could we see a few surprises here and there? So Benji, what I want you to do is I want you to give me your 1 through 5. And then I'm going to give my 1 through 5, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. What you got?
My 1 through 5. Okay, so even though I'm not as convinced as you, as it's a locked up race, I do have my number one as Zoe Saldana still. I think that if she then goes on to win BAFTA with the European support as well as the international support, I think she's in the lead at the moment. But my number two, which is Ariana Grande for Wicked, I think she's got a really strong chance of winning Critics' Choice and BAFTA. And if she does, I will be Critics' Choice and SAG, beg your pardon. And if she does, I will be eagerly awaiting the night of the Oscars to see who wins. Number three, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've actually got Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. Number four, I have Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. And then my number five, I've tossed between about 4 or 5 people who this could be. This number five is really up in the air. But I've gone with Jamie Lee Curtis for The Last Showgirl.
So my top 5 right now, I got Zoe Saldana 1, I got Ariana Grande 2, Isabella Rossellini 3, Monica Barbero for A Complete Unknown at 4, and I have Selena Gomez making it in for Amelia
Whoa!
Perez at 5.
Very
So
different there.
so I've seen Jamie Lee Curtis's name pop up several times. I feel like this is a SAG thing. I think this is weird. It was a weird drop. The whole SAG thing was a weird email. You know what I mean? It's like a weird email. It's like, hey, please see this email. And it was like a send shot, because it took me a minute to digest everybody who was nominated at SAG just based off of just seeing that email. And then I was like, reading the email, it didn't make sense. I still can't believe Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't see it happening for this film. I don't. I could. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of people predicting it. I know Margaret Qualley, Felicity Jones are sitting in the conversation as well. But I think A Complete Unknown is going to absolutely dominate nominations alongside Amelia Perez. I think that we're going to have a lot of A Complete Unknown nominations, especially I think it's going to get, 3 of the 4 acting slots, in my opinion. I I don't know. The thing about it is I think the love for Amelia Perez is real, and I think that pisses off a lot of people, and I really
Hmm.
don't care. But we're just predicting things, not giving opinions here. But well, opinions in a way. But for me, I think it's going to be showcased with several, dozen it's going to probably get like a between 10 and 12 nominations, and I think that Selena Gomez is just going to become an Academy Award nominated, not winning, nominated actress here. And could I be wrong? Yeah. But I took a few swings in my predictions, especially in the fifth slot. So I said, why not? You know what I mean? Like, why not try to be right? And who cares if you're wrong? This is just us having fun.
Hmm.
So
Amen to that.
for me, it's just the fifth slot it's a toss up between like 50 different people. Could it be Felicity Jones? Yes. Would I be shocked if it's Felicity Jones? No. Would I be shocked if it's Margaret Qualley? Probably not really either. Will I be shocked if it's Jamie Lee Curtis? Yeah, I will be, but I'll also be annoyed. But it is what it is. But I also wouldn't be shocked because her name keeps on popping up for other reasons. But for me, it's like if her name's going to pop up here, then why is Pamela Anderson's name going to pop up? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But kind of give me your thoughts on, outside of the same three we have, give me your thoughts through 4 and 5.
So it's difficult. I agree with you on that one. So Felicity Jones for the Brutalist, despite the fact she's kind of been missing here and there, I feel like she has just enough to pull through. I I find it hard to justify why she hasn't got in elsewhere. I I don't want to have to accept it, but maybe it's just because people didn't even get to her part of the movie. Who knows? But I feel like the Oscars, and especially with how they've been over the past few years, they've become very kind of commendable in terms of who they nominate and the way in which they kind of view these pictures. So I'm going out a bit of a limb there and getting her. And then Jamie Lee Curtis. So I was ready to say no after the SAG nomination, but then BAFTA came along and completely changed my mind because BAFTA don't tend to go for those really American kind of showgirly performances. But they nominated her and Anderson. Um, and with Jamie Lee Curtis, she's been a favorite of the Academy for years. I know she only got nominated a few years ago for Everything Everywhere and also won, which was crazy. But she's been a representative of the Academy for years. Everybody loves her. She's charming. She's warm. She is campaigning the shit out of herself at the moment. So I feel like that there's a lot of love going into not just her performance, but just going with Jamie Lee Curtis anyway. So I find it quite easy saying that she's my number five. I wanted to do Margaret Qualley for The Substance, but she's just been dropping down. She got the Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, but then BAFTA and SAG, they weren't there to help her. So I'm not as confident in her now.
Yeah, I see the path of Jamie Lee Curtis. I just want to know how many people in the Academy actually watched The Last Showgirl. I can't imagine it's a whole lot. And if they did, I mean, I can't imagine they enjoyed it. But that's a different conversation for a different day. I also think the name recognition of the director, I think, can go a long way with people too. So that might be give them a reason why people watch it. The Coppola name is a very prestigious name in the world of film, obviously. But all right, supporting actor. This is where I went a little crazy in just one of my picks, but I can't wait for Benji to hear it. So, Benji, go ahead and give me your 5 in the supporting actor category, and then of course we'll break it down after I mention mine.
I'm very, very excited to hear um, what your crazy pick is. So, one second, I am just adjusting the order in which I have some of these. So, number one, I feel like we're both going to be in agreement, is Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. My number two, I've actually got Yuri Borisov for Anora because he's, much to my shock and much to your shock and dismay, he's actually managed to get in anywhere. I personally don't get that. I mean, I will admit I wasn't a massive fan of Anora, but even out of all the supporting cast, I wouldn't even say he was the best in it. But never mind. This is where we're at. Number three, I have Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. Number four, I've Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown. And then my number five, I have Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
All right, yeah. 4 of the 5 are the absolute same. I got Culkin. Oh wait, you didn't say Clarence Macklin, did you? No.
No, I did not.
Yeah, Macklin out. Okay, I got Conklin, Macklin, Edward Norton, Guy Pearce, and I got Denzel Washington.
Ooh.
I listen. I understand Denzel Washington has missed here, there, everywhere. It's Denzel Washington at the end of the day, in my opinion. I just feel like The man's been nominated in the past. Give it to me. Um, would I be shocked if I hear Borsov's name? No. I mean, do I have missed in the final five? I do. Because in my opinion, look, I understand this film's loved, and I get it, right? You know what I mean? Because when people start checking off their ballots, they start checking off some of their favorite movies. But as we're starting to see, that Honora love is not as deep as it is with critics and critic groups. It's still getting nominations in a lot of different places. I'm not saying that, right? But for me, it's like we're starting to see that the movie's not as high because it's not winning as much. I mean, we're even seeing a world where, Mikey Madsen, who was like the foregone conclusion winner about a month ago from a lot of people, is not even favorite in Vegas anymore. I think the five of this doesn't really matter. Kieran Coughlin's running away with this. Vegas believe he's running away with this because he's a minus 800 favorite. Which, if to put in perspective, basically, if you bet $1, I think you win like 8 cents. So you know what I mean? Like that's how high of a favorite. By the way, Zoe Saldana is the same amount of favorite in supporting actress. By the way, but that being said, again, Borisov, if we're gonna hear his name, probably I went Denzel just because I believe Denzel's love for the Academy. I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be based on some of this stuff. Is the voting is gonna be jockeyed off of the craziness of what has transpired in the last few weeks of LA. You know what I mean? Like that's really going to affect things. But that's where I also think you're going to see you could see some crazy nominations, especially like in that fifth slot. Like the Jamie Lee Curtises could pop up because of, oh shit, I didn't see this or that because of X, Y, and Z. So
can I throw in something absolutely crazy?
Yeah.
How would you feel? I can't even keep a straight face when I say this. How would you feel if Jonathan Bailey gets nominated for Wicked?
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it wouldn't at all. To be honest with you, I'll be 100% honest with you. I almost went Jonathan Bailey, but my heart couldn't do it. Like I was like, I just couldn't. Like my fingers went to type his name for 5 instead of Denzel, and for some reason my fingers typed Denzel anyway. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things where like the AI took over and was like, no, you're not doing that, bro. Like I typed in Jonathan Bailey, Denzel name popped up. I think my body, my mind, my computer knew me enough to not be that crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me. It would just as much as it wouldn't surprise me if Chu got in for director. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You know what I mean? And again,
if the Academy really love Wicked and want to go there, he's right there to pick.
Yeah, I mean, there's a scenario where Wicked could probably be one of the most nominated movies of the day. You know what I mean? It's 1,000 possible. That's why I still think that there's a possibility the film wins Best Picture. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think I see an avenue where it could, just based on the preferential ballot. I can see that being number one in a lot more ballots than I can The Brutalist. But we're not talking about Best Picture quite yet. We'll shift over to best. We'll go to Best Director.
Stirring up a little bit.
I am. There's one thing on here that you convinced me of, and I'm locked in on it. So, but
I think I know what that is.
Exactly, and it's a theme. You'll see a common theme for me. But all right, Best Director. Who are your 5 in, and we'll talk about who is why after we both list them.
So, number 1, pretty sure 99% of people would agree with me on this one. We've got Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. Number 2, I have Jacques Audiard for Emilia Perez. Number 3, I have Coralie Fargeau for The Substance. I'm really sorry, I'm terrible with names. Number 4, I've got Sean Baker for Honora. And then number 5, I've got Edward Berger for Conclave. I'm pretty sure, without jumping the gun, that this is the guaranteed 5. Although I'm telling people now, Sean Baker could get snubbed for this, and I don't give a fuck what people say. If he gets snubbed, I will be so smug because I've been warning people about it all year long.
Here's my 5. I got Corbet, obviously, who I think is going to ultimately win. Edward Berger. I got Adored for Emilia Perez. I got Denis. Listen to this, okay? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this out loud. Why did I put Denis in my 5? Why? Everybody's going to be like, Ricky, you're an idiot. Even the guy that commented on our last podcast said you're an idiot for it. You know what? I am an idiot. You know why? Because I don't think the Academy is so stupid to snub one of, if not the best directed movie of 2024. I don't think they're that stupid. Are they going to? Probably. But there's no way in a world that I'm not going to sit here and give an opportunity to talk about Denis. All right? He should be nominated, period. And my number 5 slot, speaking of the Sean Baker snub. I have him missing out. In number 5, I was a little motivated by his DGA nomination, and I'm putting a movie that I believe is going to get a lot of love, and that's James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. I
Oh,
I am a firm
Christ.
believer that A Complete Unknown is going to be peppered all over the place on Oscar nomination morning. And am I saying it's right? No. I don't believe Forget is in the conversation. I know for a fact that Ramil Ross is getting snubbed. Um, but do I expect to hear Sean Baker's name Thursday? Yeah, but I just went motivated here based off Benji convincing him it over the last 2 podcasts that we have, because he had him on the outs for a while. Now I'm putting him on the outs, and instead of putting anybody else in, I went crazy and went Mangold just based on I think again this film, it's got a lot of recency bias on it. It's a lot of recency bias on it just because it was the movie that one of the most recent movies that came out. A lot of the displaced people, have they had an opportunity to really digest and dissect every movies? No, I don't think so. That's why I think DGA seen, the DGA boost is a DGA boost. And we get
Mhm.
some crazy nominations here. And again, I think A Complete Unknown, because of that, is going to succeed a little bit more based off of what's happened over the last few weeks in LA. So
I do think A Complete Unknown is going to do well. I don't think it's going to get into director. And look, to come back to the Sean Baker, I've actually put him just now to my number 5 because the more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm convincing myself. The director branch at the Academy loves directory films. They like auteurs. This is like one of the few um, departments within the Academy that is very highbrow. And Anora just isn't a Sean Baker nor Anora as a film is a very highbrow type of film. Like it's very it's I hate to say it because I know people love Sean Baker, but I think it's very standardly directed. I don't think there's anything particularly special about it. And then I have a look at, and the only reason I still have him in is because I'm struggling to see who has to put in because I had Ramel Ross in as my number 5 up until the PGA nominations where it got snubbed. Um, I then could do Denis, but he's just been slipping, so it's Doom Part Two. James Mangold, the DGA are almost always 4 out of 5, and I just don't think I just struggle to see how the DGAs how if there was a world in which it was 4 out of 5, how it would be Baker, how it would be James Mangold over Baker. But then again, it could happen. If they love Wicked, they could go with John Chu. If they want to go crazy and they want to like really reach out, they could go with Mohammed Russell for the Seed of the Sacred Fig. They could do literally anything.
yeah, I agree. And I can't wait for Twitter to go wild whenever Adard gets nominated for Amelia Perez and then Forget misses for The Substance. Let's
Fair.
see here. No, I said Twitter, not you. You wouldn't be as mad because you like Amelia Perez like I do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I do.
Let's go Best Actress. Let's go Best Actress. One that I feel like is a lot of names are in the conversation for Best Actress. We have quite a few up and down. But it feels like there's a couple people that you feel safe nominating, and then there's a couple names where you're not as safe nominating as well. But let's see here. Give me your 5, and then we'll talk about the rest after.
1 second. This is very unprofessional of me. I am ever so quickly making changes right now as we speak because I'm already changing my mind. Okay, so I'm not massively comfortable with my 5. I really don't feel like it is the 5, but based on stats, this is where I'm at. Number 1, Demi Moore, The Substance. Number 2, Mikey Madison, Anora. Number 3, Carla Sofia Gaston, Amelia Perez. Number 4, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. And then number 5, I really wish this wasn't where the list ended because there's one more actress who was probably my favourite performance of last year that I'd like to put in, who did win the Golden Globe, but even still, I'm having a hard time putting her in. So my number 5 is Marianne Jean Baptiste for Hard Truths. Now,
Yeah, so
I want
we have
yeah, go on, Ricky.
We have 4 of the 5 same, right? Madsen's still my 1 until I'm convinced otherwise. I mean, it just to me, I don't know. I don't believe in giving career achievement awards instead of give me the best performance. I don't know which one of the best performances on this list. Gascon would probably be my favorite performance of the four that I'm about to mention, but Madsen, Moore, Arovia, and Gascon. Number five, I went a little crazy. I went crazy just based on somebody being nominated for 5 previous Academy Awards. It was a daring and bold performance, and I went Nicole Kidman in my fifth slot. I still believe that it's an option. I do think that Torres or Baptiste, it could be there. They could be number 5. It wouldn't shock me at all. But I just
Mm-hmm.
went. I just went Nicole Kidman. I went again. There's some things I'm playing safe based on again just the voting body. How many people watched? Oh my God, what is Baptiste's name movie? Blah
Hard
blah.
Truths.
Hard Truth. How many people watched Hard Truths? Is at the end of the day,
I mean,
and
it's been doing very well in leading actors in the critic circles. I mean, it won the free
critics
the crit
circles.
the cre just hear me out. The free critics bodies, the trifecta as they call it, she won all of those, and every single person who's won all of those tends to still get the nomination. And not only that
She
though,
didn't get
but
it in the Globes.
she didn't get any Globes, which is telling and worrying, and that it definitely doesn't mean she's going to win, but very rarely do you have a year where a lineup's filled of people that got nominated everywhere. And even now, like I wanted to take Cynthia Erivo out and put Fernando Torres in, but then the problem is that the stats are just so telling, and to have a lineup of, even though Marianne John Baptiste has been nominated before, she is still my number 5. To have a lineup of people that have never been nominated before, that hasn't happened since 1970. So we're going against a stat over 55 years old, and it's like I'm just not ready to do that. So I might change my mind, and if I do, then I will make a public announcement on X, saying that I'm putting Fernando Torres in. But for now, that's where I stand.
Yeah, I just don't think about. Yeah, I mean, Wick. Earlier, I think to me, in my opinion, I think Madsen, Moore, and Cynthia lock them in. I think those three are locked. And then I go with my gut in thinking, all right, if the Academy loves Amelia Perez, Gascon, that's just a nomin. Like, if for some reason they have all these nominations, and Gascon gets snubbed, in my opinion, that's for one reason and one reason only. And I know that's fucked up to say, but I'm just going to throw that out there and say that right now. And then again, to me, you know, then we're looking at, Arovia has been nominated before, so that's fine. But you're right, like the whole, if that would be crazy to have a lineup that just full of people that have never been nominated. But I would be Torres would be a delight. Baptiste should be locked in. I mean, obviously, I'm not disagreeing with you. I didn't love the film as much. I feel like she does deliver a phenomenal performance in Hard Truths. I don't think the film is that good. I think it's actually borderline mediocre. But who am I to say anything because I don't have a vote in this race? Because honestly, if I look at the 5 that I picked, only Gascon would be in my nomination pool. So Torres would be too, but she's not in my 5 right now. I would love for Torres to get the love too, but SAG kind of skipping the boat with both ladies kind of showed me one way, and then of course that doesn't really help my case for Nicole Kidman other than the fact that it is Nicole Kidman, and I think that the performance is heralded because of what she did with that performance. And again, let's get some surprises on Oscar morning. What are we moving to now? We're gonna go to Best Actor, right? Best Actor. Let's do Best Actor. This is a fun one because I went with a different five. The fifth person I've been predicting the entire, like the last 2, I think, Best Actor episodes that we've done. I think I might know where Benji might go with this. It'll be interesting because I feel like he went there supporting, so I feel like maybe he's going to go there lead. But maybe I could be wrong. I think that we're going to have the same top
Mm-hmm.
4, which is Brody. I mean, it doesn't matter the order. Brody, Chalamet, Rafe, and Domingo. Right?
Yeah, you are correct. And
I think your 5 is probably Sebastian Stan
yeah, you're
for
correct.
The Apprentice. Damn, I'm smart. As soon as you said Jeremy Strong, I knew that your 5th slotted wide open. I am going to stick with somebody that I've been talking about for a while. Yes, we have Daniel Craig. Yes, you have Sebastian Stan. Yes, you have Hugh Grant. We have all these in the mix. I went just, I think, a real pain as a player, and I just went
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Eisenberg for the 5th slot. And I think again that movie is an easy watch. incredibly easy watch, incredible easy to digest, especially when you think about a few things. Daniel Craig Queer, not an easy movie to watch, not an easy movie to digest.
No,
Heretic is not on the board. I just don't feel like it. I feel like that
no.
was more of a play around the board. And then Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice, is not a movie that is particularly quote unquote easy to watch. It's an easy movie to watch, but is it an easy movie to digest because of what the focal point of that movie is? However, on the flip side, I do see Benji's, thought process of
Mhm,
putting it in here because it has garnered some love in surprising places. But for me, when it comes down to it, palatable movie, a movie that's going to be nominated in several other places, whether that's picture, whether that's screenplay, whether that's supporting actor. I just don't know how I feel about five. I did write in my thing that I published. Sebastian Stan's performance in The Apprentice is something to watch out for, which is hilarious because Benji and I never talk about our nominations together, and that's where I went with my number 6. I almost flip flopped him several different times, but I ended up just going Jesse Eisenberg. But yeah, that fifth slot is probably the only spot that's really like, yeah, we don't know what the hell's going on.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree. And Daniel Craig could still definitely get in, but to be
100%.
honest, I've been waiting the whole season, waiting for him to drop. And when he got that SAG nomination, I was shocked. And at that point, I thought he was guaranteed my number 5. But then the and then the fucking BAFTAs of all people snubbed him, British James Bond Daniel Craig, and they said no. And at that point, I thought, oh my god, this is it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is just a really strange world we're living in where he still does get in, but. With Sebastian Stan, and not only that though, I hate to admit it, but I feel like a lot of Academy members will just tick him on a box. One, because he is a great performance, but then the other half purely as a middle finger to Trump.
Eh,
I can see why it's not everyone's taste. I really dug it. I think I wasn't a big fan of the movie altogether, but I thought the performances from him and Strong were fantastic. They made that whole movie. They made that movie from me disliking it. They made it where I thought it was okay. If that makes sense. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm comfortable putting Sebastian Stan in, but yeah, Daniel Craig number 6, Jesse Eisenberg number 7, Hugh Grant number 8. That's where I stand.
yeah, it's definitely a toss up. Best picture. There was a tweet going around yesterday about everybody's top 10. I have my top 10 widely publicized out there into the universe, and I saw Benji's. Not sure if he made any changes to this, but
No, mine's still the
um,
same.
my 10 are Conclave, Wicket, The Brutalist, Amelia Perez, Dune Part 2, A Complete Unknown, Honora, A Real Pain, Sing Sing, and Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys, let me explain this. This is the same conversation that we had about Denis in Director. I don't believe we live in a world where Nickel Boys is going to be a one nomination or no nomination film. I don't live in that world. So because of that, I live in a world where it's going to grab the 10th spot. Yes, for those of you listening at home, that does mean I do have The Substance out right now. I do think Demi is still going to get nominated. It's still going to get maybe another 1 or 2 nominations. But Best Picture is just not one of them. It's just not a film that I feel like is going to be there. I could be wrong. I've been wrong all season about this movie, and I just want to be wrong all the way to the finish line. So I'm one of those guys that's going to see all the way through, even though every finger points to it being right. Now I think you had the same 8, and then 9 and 10. But give us those 10.
So my 10 are number 1. I've got Conclave. Actually, I agree with you on that one. So there you go. That's a good place to start. Number 2, The Brutalist. Number 3, Honora. Number 4, Amelia Perez. Number 5, Wicked. Number 6, Doom Part 2. Number 7, A Complete Unknown. Number 8, The Substance. Number 9, A Real Pain. Number 10, Sing Sing.
Oh, you flipped Sing Sing. I thought you didn't have Sing Sing. Did you have
I had
Sing Sing
Sing Sing. Yeah,
yesterday?
no, I did have Sing Sing.
Sorry, I have to go through my mentions where I'm getting absolutely onslaughted because I said something bad about the Bills yesterday. So it's a life altering. Oh, you did have Sing Sing. Okay, so the only difference that we had was what a real is The Substance and Nickel Boys.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got the Substance out, Nickel Boys in. I've got Nickel Boys out, Substance in.
Yeah. So we're pretty damn close. All right. I
You're
like it.
you're very brave there though, because you're expecting to go yeah, the Substance. I mean, it didn't get BAFTA, but it's got everywhere else, and it's got a Demi Moore win behind it, a lot of nominations
Ah,
potentially behind it.
eh.
Bro,
I'm still
Thursday
not
I
convinced that she's
will.
going to win. I'm still not convinced she's going to win.
I'm not convinced she's going to win, but there's a lot going into the
You said
nominations.
a Demi Moore win behind it. I don't think there's a win behind there. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think she.
I meant a win at the Golden Globes. There's a win. There's
I mean,
been a lot of traction going up into the
I
nominations.
don't disagree at all. There's a lot of things going in favor. My 10 slot was the sole purpose of me picking a film that I believe that should be nominated. Is the same reason I picked Denis in director.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
there's
That's fair
no
point.
character, there's no rhyme, there's no reason, there's no nothing behind me putting Nickel Boys 10 other than the Academy not being stupid enough to snub Nickel Boys completely. That's the only thing I'm going to say. That's the only reason why. Could it be the Substance? Probably. Will it be the Substance? Probably. Do I care? No. My final prediction is going to be Nickel Boys, all for the reason I literally wrote this in my article and said exactly that. Please let me have Nickel Boys in at least Best Picture. It's the one in the top 10 I don't have any confidence in. The rest are sprinkled in other places. That solidifies their place in being nominated. So, you know, that's it. That was it. Point blank. But yeah, that is it for this episode. Our final predictions of the final 6. I do have these same predictions up in written format for this 6 up over on the website, musiccitydrivein.com. We're definitely going to be live on Thursday, nominations morning. We're going to watch them and then we're going to dissect them together on the air at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll break those nominations down, some shocks, some awes. We're there every year. Every year we've got 1 or 2 completely crazy nominations, and I think that this year could be that. I would just love to see just some shakeups, some weird films getting nominated, just to ruffle some feathers. Some nominations, maybe Brutalist missed in all categories would be really cool, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, Benji and I will be live on Thursday. And then after Thursday, once the nominations are announced, we know that we switch to the idea of who is winning all these Oscars. Even though some of these categories have already been locked in, there is some categories that are still going to be in contention, and we're going to break those down every week until the funness of the Academy Award night on March the 2nd. But that's all we've got for now. Benji, thank you so much for joining me, and everybody at home. Thanks for tuning in this
Always
season.
a pleasure.
We are on our way to the finish line, and we've got some other fun content for you guys post Oscars, but we'll talk about that when we get near there. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye-bye.